need to come back. I want to see if they can repeat it. Are Immortals going to prove to be the Kryptonite 2 Sentinels on Ascent, or was that one time a fluke? Because it was very close. The one time Immortals beat them, it was a 12-13 finish. I want to see if they can repeat that. We have overtime now, so that can't even happen. You can't do 12-13 anymore.
Yeah, that's incredibly unfortunate that that result comes through before the overtime rules are changed. I do think that that's a little bit unfair, and it puts a question mark on that result. Let's see if they can double down. Here we go. It's me, Mario.
Yeah, it's a bit of an asterisk on the result. It's like American baseball, but we see a lot of folks piling into this B corridor, and that's a great flash from Asuna, who catches a number of people but can't follow it up. ShahZaM with the double.
That's 3 quick kills. Genghsta's only able to find 1 in response, and it's only off the back of that shock bolt. Straight onto the B site, Spike is down, and this is a heartbreaking pistol round.
It's really heartbreaking. That flash from Asuna caught so many members and resulted in 0 kills. If Asuna could have that one back, I can almost guarantee he would take it. But now we're in this 4v2. It's a post-plant scenario. ShahZaM has this wind-up primed, but opts to back out. And instead, it's just going to be Sinatraa finishing off Koler with 1 left to take down. It's Jcstani who is on this Brimstone. It's worth mentioning, this squad did decide to go Sageless.
Yeah, that's really important as well. Definitely a talking point coming into this second map here. We talk about the Sageless composition being quite powerful here on Ascent. Maybe those barrier orbs aren't as effective. You can kind of just shoot them down the majority of the time. It's not really like a split or a bind, but those barrier orbs have massive effectiveness. You can instantly get a plant. Here on A, if you've got the Sage on this attacking side, that barrier orb is almost useless. It does allow you to navigate through short and cut away one of those angles, but it isn't nearly as effective as a map like Bind, where you can close off the whole of the A site.
Yeah, making this transition to include Brimstone and Jet gives you a couple of smokes to work with. I like that inclusion. Here we see Sick boosting up. We saw them use this earlier against Renegades, but on the other side of the map, ShahZaM finds 2 kills. And that's going to be a great advantage again for the side of Sentinels. Sinatraa finds Dicey here. Dapr gets a kill as well, and that's a quick 2-0 start for the side of Sentinels on attack.
Yeah, beautiful. Exactly how you want to start this attacking side, 2-0. Let's see if that continues as we go through to the double rifle round. Of course, it's Immortals' initial investment here in this game, and it's Dicey whipping out the operator to get things started.
Now we've got basically full buy on the side of the defense here. 4 Phantoms, 1 operator, but no armor. I expect Dicey to be trying to use that mid. Looks like they're going to take that A short position so they can see the courtyard area. Let's see if they can use this new arsenal, get things back on track. Some noise being made over on B site, but the spike is near A as they posture down that corridor.
This is going to be the initial stalemate to start, and it all comes down to these opening frags, which Jcstani comes out on top of. Really quite nice as well. Being 1 man up is incredibly influential, especially on a map like Ascent, and especially as well, when you're on this attacking side, you need to have every single map you can get your hands on.
All right, and so now we see Asuna lying in wait, has this curveball. He's waiting to footsteps as they push down A here, and that was almost disastrous. Dapr does take out Asuna, though. That's going to even things up, but Jcstani pops off. Now up to 4 kills. Just Zombs left here all by his lonesome. He's trying to navigate through the smoke. He does get 1 kill before Genghsta gets the trade, and Immortals does even it up, so it's now 1-2. We're going to see if Sentinels can answer back.
An all-important third round there. You need to be bouncing straight back initially with those rifles in hand. Otherwise, Of course, Sentinels, they get off to that 3-0, then 4-0 start. That's way too many rounds to give away to this attacking side this early in the game. We saw that earlier in that matchup, which Sentinels were also half a part of. And now, well, 1-2's the scoreline. And let's see if we find a bounce back here from Sentinel. Going towards mid, it's a massive shot with big damage, but traded straight back.
That was almost a beautiful collateral operator kill. They were lined up and my heart stopped because there's nothing more demoralizing than losing 2 players to a single op shot like that. Thankfully, it didn't happen, and Zombs got that trade frag right away to take the operator out of commission, and things are going to slow down now. It does look like Sentinels have kind of mid control. They're lurking, but Asuna picks off Dapr. That's going to be a numbers advantage now going to the side of Immortals.
This is where things really start to matter. The Owl drone is going to get that preliminary information, and it's a double entrance towards mid. Quick kills. Asuna finally fires one back. Sinatraa, that key member, gone. And this is where Genghsta, needs to pepper some shots through. It's not a lot of damage whatsoever. And there's the ultimate to take him out of commission.
Got hit with the shockwave, but still managed to get the kill. And then Asuna steps forward, cleans up ShahZaM, and I thought for a moment we were going to see a disaster. Instead, it's Immortals holding their own. They've tied it up now 2-2, and they're trying to prove that that one time they've beaten Sentinels here on Ascent, it was not a fluke. And they want to get a repeat here. Take the asterisk off their name. They want you to put some respect on their name.
Yes, I very cruelly applied that question mark earlier in the broadcast. Here is where they got the opportunity to turn the tide, though. 2-2, a good chance to get off to a decent start here on the defending side. Let's see if Sentinels can get anything done with these.
And poor Squid there is doing his best Cypher impression, going full robot. And while he's trying to get that under control, we see this Cypher lurking, but Koler on the other side of the map does get a pick on ShahZaM. The orbital strike also comes down, forces some players back, but Sentinels have moved into this mid position. They're trying to push into B through the doorway at the moment. And there's a bit of a showdown over on site A here as well. Asuna still watching this for a potential lurk. We know through our caster vision on the minimap, Dapr is actually here with the Ghost. Takes one round, likely going to decide to back out. Koler on the other side of the map does get a pick on Sick. Also another one on Zombs, and it's now 3-2. Numbers advantage in favor of the defense here. Jcstani picking off Sinatraa now 3v1, and Asuna on the hunt. We know it's still Dapr lurking around, only 34 health. Can't really go for a true save here. You just got the pistol. You can navigate to a body, maybe pick up a gun, then you could back off and treat that as a save. But instead, Jcstani going to take out Dapr, and that's it. The defense has another round win. It's now 3-2 in favor of Immortals. Squid still sorting things out. Too many tentacles on his microphone at the moment. But
I always have
buy coming in.
I'm basically one big problem wrapped into one. 3-2. Am I still doing the Cypher impression? That's my big question.
No, you're back to being a normal aquatic squid.
I am back to black like Amy Winehouse.
See, here in the States, Back in Black would be an AC/DC reference.
Well, you know, I'm British and she's a cultural icon.
Fair enough.
3-2 on the board. And the clock yet to be ticked down. We're still in the opening moments of this 6th round. Lots of ultimates in play. Sage has that res on the defending side. And the Omen as well. With the From the Shadows, that can be thrown through in any moment now. Of course, that initial collateral is completely massive. But 3-2 is still the result.
Yeah, Dicey was dicing up the opposing squad there, but ShahZaM trying to even things up, does get this pick on Asuna. Now we're going to use the flash so they can try to enter onto site A, but the molly goes out to slow things down. ShahZaM going to potentially look for either another flash, another ability to get this entry, try to breach the site, pun intended. However, Immortals are clamping down. They've got this well protected. And because of their good angles here, Koler finds ShahZaM. Dapr gets a kill on Dicey and make that another one on Jcstani, though. That's going to even the odds. They still have to get this spike planted at some point, though. Time is ticking. And
this is where all of those
Genghsta.
kills, yeah, obviously come into fruition, but Genghsta's just a little too strong in that scenario. 4-2.
4-2 in favor of Immortals. They're trying to, again, prove that that one time they've beaten Sentinels here was not a fluke. Trying to take away the Sentinels name I've seen in chat a few times. Nice play on words.
Well, they've definitely earned that title at this point with a 14-1 stat line. As far as the history is concerned, Immortals 4-2 up though, and getting the ball rolling on this defender's side. If they can get to 8-9, they're going to be feeling phenomenal about this going over to the second half. There's still a lot of runway before we take off into that second side though. Lots of time on the board in this seventh. A little bit of utility bargained through on A, but doing relatively little damage, negligible impact in the first 40 seconds.
Yeah, it's just a lot of trading of utility, trying to fight for information. Now we see the rotation coming in, and this drone might catch. No, doesn't. I thought there might be a brief moment where it was going to find him, but it's going to run out. Dicey does get this pick on Sinatraa, and that's massive. Wall goes up, they breach in, but with the massive flash
comes into play. Obviously 4-2 being the result, and the defense, it's holding up once more. Could be this fifth round on board here as Genghsta just negotiating his way left and right around boxes, and it's an incredibly clean round for the defenders. 5-2, and this is where they can start to snowball as far as this defensive side is concerned. I really do like this from Immortals. If they're going to go back into this series, it obviously has to be in this second map. They're a map down, a very dominant performance earlier on Bind, and here on Ascent, this has to be the reverse sweep, and Immortals need to secure both of Sentinels' losses on the board.
Now, the good news for the side of Sentinels is you have a full buy coming in this time. You've got ults on Sage and Breach, and being the squad that brought Sage, you want to see if you can use her res to your advantage. Dicey gets this early pick on Dapr, so if there was ever a time to get that res, now might be it, but you would potentially have to put up your wall to make that happen, and instead it looks like they're going to grab the spike and navigate away from the corpse.
1 minute 20. And a slim advantage here in round number 8 for Immortals. A little bit of information taken as a retort. And Koler, he obviously knows that this is towards mid at this point, and should be the B split. So Sentinels maybe have to change their approach and go to plan B, which might ironically be site A.
They are pushing into mid here. We see the breach flash going out, and does look like B is what's on the menu, but they're all kind of pulled up and they're about to be pincered by the opposing squad. The Hunter's Fury is going out, and ShahZaM actually does eliminate Dicey. That's going to take the operator out of commission. But a couple of trades here as well, and Genghsta with this Odin taking a few with him, sick with the res, and just like that, we have a 3v1 scenario. A plant likely coming soon. The time is ticking down though. You gotta get on site and get it going. And instead they're just gonna kill Koler, and that's another way you can win the round. So following that, we have a 5-3 scenario, but that was a very clutch win on the side of Sentinels because they had just full bought. They didn't have much money left over. In fact, here, following that win up, they still have to have a Bulldog in the hands of Dapr because their economy was a bit hurt. On the opposing side, they had banked enough that they are likely still going to have full buys. One player appears to be rocking small shields. Outside of that, standard setup, Dicey gets an operator back. And Dicey's been great at getting these first bloods, getting these early picks. And the spike is down right now for the Sentinels, so it would appear that they are simply trying to get some picks. They're not going to push in anywhere, and there's a flurry of action on the other side of the map here with Asuna and Jcstani getting kills. However, only one answered back on the side of Sentinels, so bit of a numbers disadvantage here. Sinatraa going to use the drone to get some info. We'll see one player on the other side of the door, but a lot of action now. Dicey and Stani picking up kills. And this is going to be all save, it would seem. Excuse me, Squid seems to have left me.
I did leave you momentarily. Our Discord server sucks, so if you're from Discord, I can see that we're on 1 bar right now with lots of ping. Thank you very much, Discord. We're going to have to change the call. I've tried adding you as a friend, Charmer. Let's go.
Yeah, we're not allowed to be friends. You and I both know that.
Man, please. Please be my friend. For the sake of the broadcast.
Okay, fine. I guess I'll try to fix your robot voice, but the defenders do pick up that victory. Kind of a foregone conclusion at that point, simply because it was a 4v1 and
I do love Valorant, and I do hate tech issues. I think we are back, though, with a nice clean Squid as we've changed the Discord server. We're ready to cast Esports.
yes, you are significantly clearer.
Lovely, jubbly. 6-3, though, the scoreline looks equally clear. Here as we get things nice and toasty on this attacking side. A lovely recon bolt, though, does, well, find so much of that preliminary information. And right over the top, the kill does come through for Sick, but can't double things up. The defense nailing things through for 2 as Dicey does tons and tons of damage. Zombs only finds 1 in response, but he's going to need all 5 here if he's going to manage this round with the resurrection in order. It's the defensive side nailing down 7.
So if you're on the side of Sentinels and you're trying to push in on attack here, what is your game plan for dealing with Dicey? Because it feels like every time they go to push onto a site, Dicey is there to get a pick or 2. And while Dicey might not be on top of the kill feed here, 9-6-1 is the current score, you can feel the impact. You're at a disadvantage time and time again. Got a double kill that last round. How do you attack this if you're Sentinels?
I think you roll the dice. I think you flip the coin. I think you go back to basics and just try and find these opening frags. And if one player in the server is a particular problem, you've just got to avoid him at that point. If he's playing towards B, you have to change things up. And, well, once again, it's all of the frags coming through for this defending side, albeit only against pistols. But we're not expecting any spike plant this time. Especially, well, even with the res coming in, but Sick nailing a 1-for-1 trade once more. The recon bolt at least giving that preliminary information. With a minute left, let's see what these attackers can do. Ooh, Jet misses his marker, but straight out with the Blade Storm. It's a pair of headshots to finish. Dicey's, that was unbelievable.
Listen, if you're going to miss something in that exchange, missing the dash is the thing you want to miss, because the op shot was great. The daggers were finding skulls, a beautiful display. And my question still stands. What do you do about Dicey right now? Because even when you can close the distance, he's making you pay. Dicey is on fire.
I've got to say that the robot mic seems quite popular in the Twitch chat. If you want it back, vote robot, please. We're not going to give it to you, though. 8-3 as we approach our final round here on this T... Well, not this T side. Back to CS for Sentinels. They need quite a lot more here. I feel like Ascent definitely isn't as defender-heavy. So 8-4, it would be an acceptable scoreline, I suppose. But this is one that they really wanted to win.
Yeah, I think that you almost have to push for an 8-4 because we know that they're strong on defense. We've witnessed that earlier today. I think that Sentinels can get back working things in their favor once the half changes, but you've got to give yourself some cushion. A 9-3, not great. On the previous map, we saw Immortals could not come back on bind because of that exact deficit, 9-3. They came close, but the lead ended up being insurmountable, and this is a big exchange. Bodies dropping all over the place, but again, it's Dicey capping things off, so now it's going to be a 3-2 numbers advantage.
And this is a must-win round for both teams here. A great Hunter's Fury instantly picks apart the first, and Sinatraa, he's not long for this world. He gets finished for the final time this half. 9-3, and really just a great defending side from Immortals.
So we saw this on bind. One team started 9-3, then you swapped sides, the match tightened up, things got close, but ultimately it was Sentinels with the victory because they had that 9-3 lead. This time around we have Immortals with the 9-3 lead, but Sentinels are known for playing on Ascent. Can they turn it around? Can they come back? Because otherwise we're going to be going to a third map, which again will be on Split.
Well, we've seen the opposing teams to Sentinels every single time have good mental resilience. It's Sentinels' time to shine here on this defending side. It all starts with the pistol. If they can start to run it up once again, the only saving grace here, Charmer, is Sentinels' pistol rounds thus far this series have been fairly flawless. 2 of the 3 rounds that they've taken on the board were off the back of that pistol. This time, it's attention sent into A, and that shock bolt is going to do tremendous damage. They need to now breach back on and inwards in this 3 versus 3. All the flashes found it. There are the kills too. Sick and Sinatraa getting the job done, and ShahZaM just can't do it one more time. It's going to be 9-4. Wow, wowie, wow.
Dapr's not going to get the respect he deserves on the scoreboard here because he didn't get credit for any of those kills, but that initial swing, when he fired 3 or 4 shots and all of them found home. They were all damaged, but didn't result in any eliminations directly. So at the start, it actually looked like the advantage was in favor of Immortals, but the reality was Dapr did a ton of damage. It was just spread across all of the bodies. Ultimately, Sentinels hung in there, and now let's see if they can use this to snowball.
Well, that's exactly the dream start this time, and, well, it's the peppering through from Sinatraa to deal that preliminary opening damage once more, and Sick to just close things over and off over by the B site. Lovely stuff as the shutdown is all but secure.
Koler kind of lurking here, potentially wants to inflict some economic damage, maybe lessen this advantage as we're entering the second half again because things are a bit reset here, but overall with this 4-2, make that 4-1 setup, you have to assume that this round is also going to go in favor of Sentinels, and this is what you needed after a 9-3 half. You needed to bounce back. Zombs does finish off Genghsta, so that's a 2-0 start since the swap in favor of Sentinels. You love a good comeback story. You love a good bounce back.
I love a good comeback. 9-5. We might see a close map once again. Funnily enough, 4 out of the 5 maps that we've seen, if this one does go close, have been very tight scorelines. We've seen some very competitive Valorant today. And, well, it's only 4 rounds away from the victory. Immortals are within touching distance, but playing the defending half on your first side, that's really how you find yourselves most of the time. A great bit of over-aggression to secure too, and maybe this is what Immortals need. That aggression, those frags found, it's headshots galore to start things off.
Yeah, I would like to see Immortals be very aggressive because that's what worked for Renegades against Sentinels here. That's how they were able to keep this close. Now, poor Dapr here, all by his lonesome on B, as the entire squad is rotating over. You have to assume that this is going to go really poorly for him. He might be able to take one with him, but does not. That's a clean kill by Asuna there, and so it's going to be a 4v2. The spike will get planted, and they're going to have to retake this undermanned. I wouldn't be shocked if they try to play for picks and then maybe consider backing off here, despite the round disadvantage.
They need
the drone's going to
back
come
off.
through.
There's no way that they can try and go for this one without an opening pickup. And, well, with the recon bolt all faded and gone, they lose both of those rifles. That's a key investment to whiff here, especially as we approach crunch point in this map. Of course, Sentinels get a buy in hand, but it's far from ideal. We see that Odin come through, 3 Phantoms, and that single Spectre on Sick. Here's the opportunity to close the gap once again on the defensive side, but it's an operator and 4 Phantoms to say no here for Immortals.
I'm really excited to see if Sinatraa can recreate the magic that he found earlier today using these sonar arrows with the Odin to get a bunch of wallbang damage going. It was absolutely lethal. On the other side of things, yes, we're on attack now, but this is still dicey with an operator, and he's been on fire so far on Ascent, so those are the 2 potential difference makers, as it looks like both squads are posturing a bit towards mid. ShahZaM here does find a kill. Make that 2. No, Dapr actually stole his glory there, but
that's absolutely flawless. Finding that conversion kill on towards mid and actually overcommitting there, that's definitely a mistake. A mistake that we really can't afford to make here on the Sentinel side. They need to ride high with these early found advantages. And, well, Dapr, I know he's going to be feeling good a lot of the time, but he needs to be fragging even better if he's going to close out those sort of engagements. Now an opportunity on the 1 versus 2 that instantly gets shut away. It's 10-6, and we've got another game on our hands.
Yeah, Sick cleaning that one up there at the end, and that's somebody else that I would like to see kind of get hot, because we've seen Sick capable of some crazy clutches. Again, this is the Sage advantage, if you will. I'd like to see Sick maybe also get some clutch reses. His resurrections have been on point today. This might be another way that they can get back in the game, because you have to exploit your advantages, and you have a Sage. The opposing squad does not. Yes, on Ascent, not as big of a deal, but the resurrection is every bit as important as it ever is because of the numbers advantage it creates.
Well, with the Cypher trap mine in play, we know that this is going to be commitment towards A. Obviously early days in this 17th, and one that, albeit, Immortals shouldn't be able to take. They've got very little investment. We see the Sheriffs come into play one more time, and it's all about those headshots on the A site to get things started. If they can eliminate Zombs early, there's every opportunity that they can get at least a spike down. But here's the initial information from Cypher. Dapr's on this right-hand side, and, well, Genghsta's doing so much damage right now. There's at least an initial frag, and he gets doubled up by Phoenix with the run it back. This is tremendous stuff. 50 seconds left, and that spike's already planted.
This is going to be a nightmare retake scenario. That Hunter's Fury was brutal, and now we see ShahZaM going to be throwing out the Shockwave. Does allow them to get a couple of trades here, but it's still a 3v1. Make that a 3v-none. Jcstani secures the victory. It's now 11-6, and this is not as close as I expected it to be. This is Sentinel's map to lose, if you will. Again, historically very strong on it. I would not be shocked if they start to make a run here, close this gap, but right now, 11-6, a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, and for me, a massive surprise. A bit is certainly an understatement at this point. A 14-1 start here in terms of the maps that they've taken, with the only loss being against Immortals. And maybe we're seeing somewhat of a pattern here. Immortals doing great work against this Sentinel side, and they seem to be one of the best in the West at taking these favorites away.
A lot of posturing here over near A. Gonna send this drone out. Eye in the sky, trying to get the traffic report out. Gonna be pushing out onto site A now. We hear the orbital strike going out. ShahZaM does pick off Asuna, but Dicey and Koler answer back. This is going to be a great Hunter's Fury from Sinatraa. Zombs also picks up a kill, and despite the aggressive push, it's going to be a temporary advantage in favor of Sentinels. Going to get this res off. This is exactly what I was hoping to see from Sick.
Oh, Koler's actually got the lion's share
I know exactly
control
where
right
you
now,
are.
taking full advantage of short. That Cypher ult is actually going to give away all of the information, and it's the defuse already happening. They're going to force these peekers right into Zombs' crosshair, and that's an easy round to win. I love that that triple face comes through from the Sentinels right there, just eliminating both of those follow-up players, knowing with the neural theft that they're both towards short. 11-7, and Sentinels still in this map.
Can someone get this? Thank you.
So the real question now is, can they start establishing momentum? They need to string together a couple of round wins here or there instead of doing this, you know, you take one, I take one, trade back and forth. They have to close the gap. Now, this is the time to do it because economically, when you look at the other side, they're a bit hurting. It's not going to be full buys for everybody. They need to springboard off of that round win and really propel this forward. Dicey gonna pop the ult here to make up for the arms disadvantage, so the daggers come out early.
I got something very important to say. Oh, you mean ShahZaM? Also known as 6'8", 280 pound, and 5.6% body fat beast of a human. Also the IGLOG PAX Arena winners Sentinels. Yes, that's him. No biggie. He's just an ideal man figure.
You might not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like. And it's ShahZaM. And you see him now creeping forward here. The smoke comes out, so he knows, and he beautifully times that headshot through the cage, finds another one. That's a triple kill for the massive monster known as ShahZaM. That's going to stall this advance.
You can see right above those smokes. And while it's headshot after headshot after headshot.
This is going to be a rotation away. Are you thinking save potentially here simply because your economy was already a bit hurting when you were coming into this round?
Yeah, I absolutely am. I feel like in this iteration of Valorant especially, teams just don't save enough. Having that economy firing on all cylinders, obviously you don't get punished economically for saving in this particular game. And keeping those phantoms give you equity in the next round. Even when combined with a couple of pistols, it's unbelievable. But ShahZaM, it's an ace.
That's
all
a
5 kills.
6'8" ace.
He's the beast of a man.
A man mountain. They don't come any bigger.
I read out the Twitch chat and he finds an ace as a result. I take the credit.
Thanks.
Yes, that was all you, not ShahZaM whatsoever.
No.
Of course.
That's why they should pay me more.
So this is what I was expecting to see, right? Immortals, they got that lead, but Sentinels are closing the gap. This is their map. They like to play on it. I was shocked when we had that big differential before. I expected it to be closer, and this is what Sentinels needs to do. Let's see if they can, again, continue the momentum. And sick, I was saying earlier, hadn't popped off in a while, but adds those Roman numerals back to his name with a triple kill to start things off.
Beautifully done in Dicey's. Oh my lord, 2 pairs of shots. ShahZaM drops. Actually gives them a slight advantage over towards the B site momentarily. But this is before the push comes through. And a 2 versus 2. I can't believe that Immortals even has a chance right now. That's a massive pair of frags to find. And with a minute left, this spike's going to go down and away. And this is a retake that Sentinels just cannot afford to lose right now. It would mean 12-8. It would mean map point here on Ascent. Let's see if they can close out these headshots right now. Genghsta right within the back lines. And they've got so many angles to check here on the Sentinel side. They've got to slowly creep and crawl their way in. That paranoia is perfect. And both of the kills come in. 11-9.
That paranoia was insane. They had so many angles to check, as you said. You were coming into Dicey, who's got the hot hand, but that paranoia shut them down. And that's another round win on the side of Sentinels. This is a very close game. Things are really heating up here, and I'm excited.
This is where things start to heat up here, toaster style. 11-9 and an opportunity for Sentinels back into this one. An operator in the hands of ShahZaM. He absolutely knows how to use it. We saw him dominating the middle of the map earlier on today in that initial series here on Ascent, which, funnily enough, Sentinels were able to take. Here they need 4 out of 4 to finish this one off without it going to OT. 3 out of 4 would obviously mean we find bonus rounds here in the second map.
That was a really good timed dodge, if you will, from ShahZaM, avoiding that flash that was coming from the Phoenix. And both teams are going to take it a bit slow, try to find picks. Sick does find some information there in mid. So they are aware that there's a mid presence now on the side of Immortals. Haven't really committed to anything yet, though. Spike's still down. They want that pick. Asuna does get a pick, and it's on ShahZaM, so that takes the operator out of commission. Dicey also eliminates Sick, and this is huge.
This defender's side might have just fallen for the penultimate time. This would mean 12. If the defensive 5 now can close this one out, the spike down means the cat becomes the mouse. And with the owl drone over the top and a little bit of opening damage nailed, this is a 5 versus 3 that I feel that Sentinels have to go for. They have to hit headshots galore to open this one up once again. And I don't think any number of recon bolts are going to change matters here on the B side. Dicey with another one. It's straight on through. Sinatraa gets the initial damage done. Zombs as well. And the retake. Oh, falls on deaf ears for a second. Sinatraa has a chance before getting shut down. 12-9.
An insane round that was. Sinatraa is absolutely cracked at finding these wall bangs. Whether it's on the Odin or in that case an AR, it doesn't matter. He lands the sonar arrows and he immediately follows it up. He's one of the best at capitalizing on that information very quickly. Did his absolute best there. Wasn't enough to end up taking the round, so we are staring down match point. And this would result in a map 3. If Immortals can get one more successful plant, one more round win, we're going to be going to split.
And we'll see 2 series back-to-back going the distance here. Both maps being really cut by a fine-tooth comb. And Sinatraa gets aggressive, not punished. Instantly pops back through for both headshots. Insane way to start.
Sinatraa is not going to let it go to map 3 if he can help it. That is a beautiful double kill to open things up. And you can see them backing off. They kind of have to reassess at this point and say, do we want to continue making this push? Do we maybe play this safe? Going to explore mid a bit, throw the cage. Dicey does have this operator, so this isn't a guaranteed save scenario, because if they can catch somebody peeking and get a pick with this operator, it might open things up for them. And the creep is real. Slow walking across, up onto catwalk, trying to go into A. There's that pick.
Cage trigger.
And this is where things start to get dicey once again. Sinatraa Hunter's Fury through, and he's able to nail 2. That's a quad kill, and might even be able to finish this one off again. A pair of headshots to open, and a pair of Hunter Fury shots to close. 6 able to nail the last man. That's dicey death. And 12-10 being the result, and the scoreline closes again. This is going to be pistols.
Yeah, this is huge because of the pistols. And that's why I was saying that they might consider saving, but if they got the pick, they also might go. They did end up getting the pick, so they pushed. Unfortunately, was not successful. It's going to be an eco round here, and then we're going to be staring at a 12-11 likely finish, unless they just pop off. We've seen plenty of thrifty wins on today's broadcast, so this is not a foregone conclusion by any means.
Absolutely not. 2 out of 2 would get us to OT and keep Sentinels' almost flawless record still in play here on Ascent. 1 minute 20, the dawn of this 23rd and penultimate round of this regulation half. Clock ticking down, the door closes, but it will be breached and broken incredibly and exceptionally quickly. And it all comes down to these shots once again. Dicey's only able to find the single before going down, and it's down to Immortals to challenge this Odin one final time. Pistols at the rear. Sinatraa, he's able to find 3 out of 3. It's a 1 versus 2 scenario, but with the paranoia in play, Genghsta just can't see anything, and Zombs closes this down to the final round.
Sinatraa getting that trade frag on Dicey when he leapt in with the daggers was really huge, because with all the pistols, Dicey needed to get a multi-kill in my mind in order to propel that to a potential victory. You wanted to get as much value out of his ultimate as possible so that the other players on your team can maybe pick up some guns or at least push into an area and establish control. But the immediate trade from Sinatraa shut it down. So now still match point. It's 12-11 and we're staring at full buys, but Sentinels are 1 round win away from forcing this to overtime after a 9-3 half.
One of the difference makers here might be 6 Resurrect in hand. He's earned it after a bunch of kills in the last couple of rounds here. And well, that could be the difference maker. Funnily enough, 4 of these 5 ults for Team Immortals to try and close this one through. This will be their best opportunity yet. And it's Dicey's to lead the charge out towards the B site. It's only Sova holding thus far, and here come all of the ults. They come in combination right here. A quick kill found, and Koler's able to open up. They're going to put a tremendous amount of pressure upon this B site. With Sick finding only 1 headshot, he's going to be nailed in from all angles. It's another headshot before going down and away. A 3 versus 3, and I think Immortals might have just got the job done. It's 1 final retake here as Zombs needs a 1 versus 2 to close. The Resurrect out of commission with Sage dropping down, and with 30 seconds, they're trying to bait him out in the open right now. Zombs needs both of these kills, and it's not going to happen. 13-11, game over. Wow.
So very, very similar to our first game where somebody jumps out to a 9-3 start. The opposing team tries to close the gap, but ultimately it's a 13-11 finish, and Immortals take the second victory over Sentinels